भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके मोगं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनदारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. So in the fourth chapter we basically saw the appearance of Sri Narad Muni. So Narad Muni is going to have three lives. Okay, so does anyone know what are they? So we have to start from 11, no Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, what was the three lives which Narad Muni had before he became Narad Muni?
Mataji, first one, he was a Gandharva. And he was
No. Before that, before being a Gandharva, he was what? He was son of Brahma only.
Brahma.
Yeah, he was the son of Brahma. And then what happened? How did he become a Gandharva? Anyone knows? Yes, how did he become a Gandharva? Who knows? So first he was the son of Brahma. Yes, correct. And then what happened? Brahma asked him to have progeny, like marry and have children. Because Brahma is basically who? Brahma is the creator. No, he wants to have creation. So now now what he did is, what did Brahma do? He asked Narad Muni, his son, to have a progeny, to get married and all. So now, when Brahma asked Narada to do this, Narada wanted to be a brahmachari. He didn't want to get married and all. So Brahma got angry and he cursed him to become a Gandharva. Now, when he was cursed to become a Gandharva, as mother said, then what happened in the Gandharva? So that's the second life. Then at that time, what happened when he became a Gandharva? Yes. Aishwarya Mataji, you're right. Yeah, you continue. Like when he became a Gandharva, then what happened? Who knows?
Mataji, I think he is surrounded by women in a sabha that.
Yeah, there was Apsaras, correct. So there was
Yeah.
Apsaras dancing, and then what happened is Narad Muni, he was a Gandharva, so he was playing Mridanga and the Apsaras were dancing. So suddenly he missed the beat. Now, because he got immersed in an Apsara's beauty, he missed the beat, and then the demigods in that planet, they cursed him to become a, what did he become after that? Third life?
That he will be born on earth as a boy.
Earth as?
Dasiputra.
Yeah, Dasi Putra, or as a Shudra son. So that was a third life, as a son of a maid servant. So now Narad Muni came as a son of a maid servant, and there he got the association of pure devotees, Bhaktivedantas, during the Chaturmasya. And he had only his mother; she died because of a snake bite. And Narad Muni, that Shudra son, again became Narad Muni. So these are the three lives. Now we'll see about Maharaj Parikshit's uh, birth, activities, and disappearance. So appearance. So Maharaj Parikshit is the grandson of,
Yudhishthir Maharaj.
yeah, Arjuna, Yudhishthira Maharaj, all of them. Now Parikshit Maharaj was in the womb of
Uttara.
Uttara.
Uttara. So then his birth, Parikshit Maharaj's birth or appearance is glorious. Why? In the first picture you can see.
Because
Mataji,
Krishna,
when that Ashwatthama's weapon came to hit
Brahmastra.
her,
Yes.
Brahmastra
Ashwathama is the
came,
son of
son of
Dronacharya.
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 So he's also
Yes.
called Droni. Ashwathama is also called Droni. Another name of Ashwathama is, there's one more name. Yes. The name is
Brahmabandhu.
Mani.
Brahmabandhu. Very good. Brahmabandhu. Even though he's a son of a Brahmana, he still didn't have the qualification of a Brahmana. So he's called Brahmabandhu. Okay, nice. So Ashwathama sent the Brahmastra to kill the baby in the womb of Uttara. And what did happen? What did the baby see?
Uttara
Baba.
went and pleaded at Lord Krishna's feet, Mataji. So
Yes.
Lord Krishna entered into the womb of Uttara
Yes.
and he stood inside protecting, giving the temperature which is not hurting the child. That Brahmastra's heat will not hurt the child.
Yes.
So that the child will not get, the child will not get killed, Mataji. So he
Yes.
protected Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So Parishmarat's appearance is also glorious in that way. Why? Because Parishmarat saw the Lord in the womb itself, and his name became Parikshit because when he came out, he was Parikshita, means to examine whether I've seen this person in the womb, this person in the womb. He started examining and became Parikshit. His activities are glorious because you can see he was chastising Kali Purusha, and also he went to the banks of Ganges to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami. And the last picture, finally his disappearance to be bitten by a snake bird, Takshak. And before the bite itself, he got liberated. So there are glorious qualities of Maharaj Parikshit is mentioned from 9 to 12 slokas, but still he renounced. Now let's see why. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namanti yatpadaniketamātmana Shivaya hānīya dhanāni sahatrava katam savīrā shriyamanga Srashtum Aho Sahasupi. So he, that is Aparishit Maharaj, was a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth, strength, and he possessed kindly opulences, kingly opulences. And why did he want to give up everything, including his life? So that's what the question is. Parishmarat is a great ruler, and Krishna wanted to protect him because he was the final descendant in the Yadu dynasty. And since he's a devotee, Krishna wanted him to rule. But then he had all opulences, so good it was, everything. Now everybody is inquiring what is happening to Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, so the qualities of Parikshit Maharaj in the previous slokas we saw. He's a first class devotee of Krishna. Prabhu Bhagavadottamam, Bhagavata Uttamam. There are two types of Bhagavatam now. What are they?
Devotee Bhagavat and Book Bhagavat. Mataji.
Yeah, very good. So devotee Bhagavatam and book Bhagavatam. When you say Nashtapraya Shabadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, it means what? Not only the Grantha Bhagavatam or the book Bhagavatam, also the person is also called a Bhagavatam, a pure devotee. Why is a pure devotee called as a Bhagavatam? Yes. Why?
Because he lives by the principles of Bhagavatam.
Because he
Lives by the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, he lives by, like, whatever is given in the Bhagavatam scriptures, he apply it in his life, or he is representing that book Bhagavatam, or he plays a role model of being a perfect devotee. So that's why he's called a Bhagavata. And Bhagavata Uttama sloka varte. Uttama means the best. So Parikshit Maharaj is a first class devotee of Krishna. Tasya Janma Mahashcharyam, his birth is also wonderful. Now we saw that how he saw the Lord in the womb. And also Karmani Chagrini, his activities are also wonderful. And also he was detached. He inherited his grandfather's kingdom, yet he was not attached to wealth and opulence. He was detached from material enjoyment. Bhakti Pareshana Bhavo Virakti Anyatra Chesha Trika Eka Kala. Pravatyamanasya Dashnudasya Pushti Tushti Shud Apayo Anugasam. So what does this mean is, I'll show you. So it means that, can someone trace the sloka? Sloka number? Bhakti Pareshana Bhava Virakti Anyatrasya. Just type in Google and see. You got? It's a Bhagavatam sloka.
$11.2.42 Mataji. 2.42.
11.4.42, Prabhu.
11.2.42 Mataji.
2, okay, 11.2.42. It means Bhakti Pareshanabhava Virakti Anyatra Sat means when you do Bhakti, what happens is Virakti, you get detachment. Okay, Anyatresa. And then what happens is, like when you are hungry, what happens? You take prasadam. And when you take prasadam, what are the things happening to you? If anybody is taking prasadam, what happens to you? Tushti pushti. Your hunger will get quenched, or thirst and hunger, and then you feel satisfied and happy. Similarly, when you do bhakti, we also feel that satisfaction. So bhakti pareshanubhavo virakti anyatra chesha. So virakti. When you do bhakti, virakti, detachment will come. All of us have experienced it, no? Like before we were attached to so many material things and enjoyment, but now after coming to Krishna consciousness, all that material enjoyment is just going away. We like to chant, we like to associate with devotees, we like to hear Bhagavatam scriptures. Instead of all material senses enjoyment, we are actually satisfying Krishna senses now. So bhakti paresh, when you do bhakti virakti, that detachment will come. Now what happens after that is, like how similarly is when you have prasadam, tushti pushti shud apayo anugasam. So devotion or direct experience of the Supreme Lord and detachment. Okay, so devotion will come, experience of the Lord, and detachment. These three things will occur simultaneously for somebody who have taken shelter of Krishna. In the same way, pleasure, happiness, nourishment, and relief from hunger simultaneously happen when you are engaged in eating. So when you take each bite, like somebody is really hungry and you keep nice prasadam and he's taking, there'll be pleasure, he'll be happy, there'll be nourishment to the body, and also relief from hunger. So three things will happen simultaneously. Okay, that is, there will be hunger, will be you will be nourished, you get the energy, you get happiness, okay, and you nourished, and also relief from hunger. Similarly, when you do bhakti, what happens? Detachment will come, devotion is there, and direct experience of Krishna. So three things will happen together. So this is what Srimad Bhagavatam says to us. So now when you when Parikshit Maharaj was doing bhakti, he also got this detachment. Okay, he was getting detached from material life, even though he had a great kingdom, because when he heard Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days, and finally Shukadeva Goswami asked one question, Parikshit Maharaj, are you scared of death now? And what did he reply? Does anyone know? So Parikshit Maharaj replied that I was not born to die, That means he understood he is not the body, his spirit soul. So that itself shows that he was already liberated before the Takshak bit him. So and also he was following the footsteps of his own grandfather Yudhishthira Maharaj, and still he had all these facilities. He was a great devotee. He saw the Lord in the womb. His activities were glorious. His departure was, and before departure, why did he give up all the favorable circumstances and sit down in the banks of Ganges? Now, what is the answer? Fasting till death. Why did he sit? Why did Parikshit Maharaj sit like that?
To hear Bhagavatam.
Huh?
To hear Bhagavad Katha, know the Lord.
Before that, what happened? Before hearing Bhagavad Katha, or why did he actually go to the banks of Ganges to hear Bhagavatam? What
He was
happened before that?
cursed by,
Yes, Prabhu?
he was cursed the mother.
Yeah, he was cursed by whom?
Oh,
Who cursed him?
Bhrugu's son.
Who?
Bhrugu, no?
Who cursed Parikshit Maharaj? You don't know that story?
Yeah, you know.
Ringi, no?
Shringi. Whose son was Shringi?
Shah,
Shamika Rishis.
Shamika Rishi.
So when Parikshit Maharaj was so thirsty when he went to the forest and he saw the cottage of the sage Shamika Rishi, and because Shamika Rishi was so immersed in meditating on the Lord, he didn't even realize the Maharaj has come, the king has come. So he didn't do any welcoming, and Parikshit Maharaj got offended. He put a dead snake around Shamika Rishi. And his son, Shamika Rishi's son Shringi, cursed Parikshit Maharaj, and to get out of that in 7 days he'll be bitten by a Takshak snake. So to get out of that, he went to the banks of Ganges. Now, so Parikshit Maharaj, being a great devotee, and it said that he didn't have any selfish interest. So Parikshit was free from all attachment. Okay, and still, why did he give up his mortal body, which was shelter for others? Like, why did he give up all the happiness or the whole kingdom? And that's what the questions they are asked. They're asking, and they're expecting answers. So Sudha Uvaja, so Sudha Goswami is saying, द्वापरे समनो प्राप्ते तृतीय युगपर्यये जातप्रसाद परासरात् योगी Vasavyam Kalaya Hari. So Sudha Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great Sri Vyasdev was born to Parashara in the womb of Satyavati and daughter of Vasu. Okay, Vasu. So now he is telling about Vyasdev's appearance. Okay, now what happened? About, because the Srimad Bhagavatam, why is Vyasdev's appearance mentioned here? What is the connection?
Father of
Yeah, Bhagavatam has to be told by Vyasdev to
Sukhamani.
Shukadev Goswami. And Shukadev Goswami is the one who is teaching reciting Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So that story should come. So he is saying, so the Goswami is telling from there, he is saying that Vyasdev was born to Parashara in the womb of Satyavati. Okay. Sakadaschit Saraswatya Upasprashya Jalam Shuchi Vivikta Ega Asina Udite Ravi Mandale. So once upon a time, Vyasdev, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the water of Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate. So it's about the story. Now what happened? Paravaratnya Sarishi Kalena Vyaktaram Hasa Yuga Dharma Vyadikaram Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge. So now the great sage Vyasdev saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happened on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in course of time. Like Vyasdev is another name is what? What is another name of Vyasdev? Yes. What is another name of Vyasdev? Nobody knows?
Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas.
Yeah, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, and also there's one more name. Badarayana. He's also called Badarayana. Badarayani is Shukadev Goswami. So here it is said Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas. So he is Krishna himself who came as Vyasdev. Now, so Vyasdev as the Lord, since he's the incarnation of the Lord, which incarnation is Vyasdev?
Literary incarnation.
incarnation, Mataji.
What?
Literary incarnation.
Literary incarnation is Bhagavatam.
Knowledge, mother.
Knowledge. He's empowered. He's Shakti-Avesh avatar. Literary incarnation is what? Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. Vyasdev is Shakti-Avesh avatar. He is empowered by knowledge. Like Narad Muni is also Shakti-Avesh avatar. O Kumaras. All that are Shakti-Avesh avatar. Now, Vyasdev is a liberated soul and he could see all the anomalies of Kali Yuga. So, and he was not satisfied. He wanted to write Srimad Bhagavatam for the whole world. And now what happened? The great sage Vyasdev, who was fully equipped with knowledge, could see the transcendental vision, the deterioration of everything in the material world due to the influence of Kali. And he could also see the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of man in all status and orders of life. What are the symptoms of Kali? Prayena.
Alpaisha. Short memory.
Jana Manda Sumanda Mateyo Mandya Bhagahi Upadruta.
So Prayena Alpayusa Sabya Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Madhyo Manda Bhagya Upadruta. So in people in Kali Yuga is Manda Sumanda Madhyo Manda Bhagya and Prayena Alpayusa. Their lifespan is also decreasing. Alpayusa Sabya. So, okay, so there is a decrease in the, reduced in the duration of life. So Vyasdev could see all this and he was saying that this vision, he could get this vision. And then what else he saw? Chaturhotram karma shuddham rajanam viksha vaidikam Vyadadhyat yajna santyate Vedam ekam chaturvidam. He also saw the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which people's occupation would be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided one Veda into four in order to explain them among men. So it's Vyasdev who actually divided this Vedas to Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda, and all that. And then Vyasdev still he was not happy. That's why he had to write Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, when he was in distress, who actually came to Vyasdev? Because he was not
Narad Muni.
satisfied.
Narada Muni.
Narad Muni.
Narad Muni came because Narad Muni is the spiritual master. How did Narad Muni come at the right moment? How did he come? How?
Mataji, Vyasdev, after compiling all the Vedas, he was not satisfied at all. He was
Yeah.
still having some
How did
confusion.
Narad Muni know this? That's my question.
He is Manas.
He is
Uh,
meditating, no,
knows the heart of the
Mataji?
disciple.
Remember him, he appears.
Spiritual master knows the heart of the disciple.
Yes, Avik Prabhu. Yes, spiritual master knows about the disciple. Then, what else? Sureshwar Prabhu.
He is Manasaputra and he comes whenever somebody remembers him.
Okay. Yes, Narad Muni has that. He's Trikala Jnani. He could get information about all of them. Yes. What else? Any other reason? So Krishna is in our heart as Paramatma and he's the Chaitya Guru. So Krishna helps us from within as Paramatma and from without as the spiritual master and the scriptures. So it's the same as Prabhu said, the Guru. It's the Chaitya Guru who manifests outside or comes outside. Where else Narad Muni went at the right moment and helped the disciples, helped devotees? Any other instance in the scriptures?
Dhruv Maharaj, Mataji.
Dhruv Maharaj, very good, yes. When Dhruv Maharaj was determined to go to the forest, he was just 5-year-old boy and he was not even initiated. And Narad Muni, the right moment, went there and gave him the mantra to get initiated and gave him encouragement. Where else Narad Muni went?
He
Valmiki.
Prahlad Maharaj also, yes. Even the,
Yes, Valmiki. Then he was also killing and was in this was going in a degraded life. Narad Muni came there, gave him the mantra Mara Mara and made him Valmiki. Okay, Ratnagar became Valmiki. Then
Bhakta Prahlad.
yes, Prahlad Maharaj, when he was in the womb of his mother and was about to be kidnapped and killed, by the Devatas, Narad Muni came there and stopped. So he helped and also he gave transcendental knowledge to the child. Chitraketu Maharaj, when he lost his son Shoka, the right moment Narad Muni went and gave him transcendental advice. Later on, he became Vritrasura, got delivered. Okay, so all this Mrigari, so many places we can see Narad Muni coming at the right time. Now, what are the questions asked by the sages of Naimisharanya so far? They've asked about the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. They also asked questions about Parikshit Maharaj, who is the hearer of Bhagavatam. Also about Shukadev Goswami, they asked question, who was the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so all these questions they were asking. 18 to 25 is the compassion of acharyas on people in general. Vyasa Kripana Valsala. Vyasdev, because of compassion, says out of compassion, Vyasdev thought it was wise that he would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. That's why he compiled Mahabharata. Because in Mahabharata, what else will come? In Bhishma Parvat.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes?
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita. So the translated advice of Bhagavad Gita comes out in Mahabharata only, no? So Vyasdev started compiling. Out of compassion, he did this. Okay, the whole parampara we can see. So all our parampara have had lot of compassion towards. That's why they have given us scriptures. So the greatest philanthropists are those transcendentalists who represent the mission of Vyasa, Narada, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. They're all one and the same. The personalities may be different, but the aim of mission is one and the same, namely to deliver the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. That was their main aim. So it is also said that Vyasdev also had this mission. He gave Mahabharata, and the purpose of Mahabharata is to administer the purpose of Vedas. Therefore, Mahabharata is a summary of Veda, and Bhagavad Gita is also placed in it. So it is said Vyasdev and Lord Krishna are both on the transcendental platform, and Bhagavad Gita is essence of all the Vedic knowledge. and he gave this philosophy to us. Later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave us more philosophies. So here, even after compiling these Vedas and Mahabharata and all, Vyasadeva was not happy. So Srila Vyasadeva was not satisfied. Okay, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Evam pravartasya sada bhutanam shreyasi dvija sarvatvakena piyata natushad hridayam yata. So what is it said? That Vyasadeva was not at all happy and he was not satisfied. What was the cause of Vyasadeva's dissatisfaction or unhappiness? What is the cause?
Because he didn't mention anywhere about Lord Krishna, Mataji. He did not
Yes.
keep Krishna as center.
Not mentioned about Krishna. Then what else?
He did not mention about devotional service also.
Yeah, not mentioned about devotional service or Krishna in any of the scriptures. And the pastimes of Krishna, or mentioned about the qualities and pastimes of Krishna. Also, devotional service were also not mentioned. So he was dissatisfied. Nati prasadi hridaya saraswatyasya tadeshajo vitargyan viviktasta itam chovacha dharmavid. So thus Vyasadeva, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within himself. So he was really dissatisfied here. So Vyasadeva is dissatisfied despite doing welfare of people in general. Okay, even though he have written all the Vedas, he have compiled all the Mahabharata, and Bhagavad Gita was also given. Still, because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's pastimes are not mentioned, no? It's just the Kurukshetra Leela, the baby pastimes, or nothing else is mentioned about Krishna. So it's about the philosophy, that's it. But Vyasadeva wanted to describe more. It was Krishna's special plan, and this is just a pastime to show us that what in this picture, what do you see? What do you see in the picture?
Narada Muni
Narada
coming
Muni
and
is coming,
helping,
yeah, and helping
Vyasadeva.
Vyasadeva. What do we learn from here? Why is this pastime happening? Narada Muni is after all devotee, but Vyasadeva is Krishna himself, no? Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas. And why is this pastime happening? What lesson can we learn?
To take the shelter of Guru.
So we should take shelter of Guru. Okay. So when are you all getting initiated? Aishwarya Mataji, Avik Prabhu, Prit Prabhu, Konraj Prabhu, Padmini Mataji, Sumina Mataji, Ruchi Mataji. When are you all planning to take shelter of Guru? You've taken shelter? The shelter forms are submitted?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, you
No,
took.
Mataji.
Then Padmini Mataji, shelter?
No, I have no
You
idea.
can take shelter, no? Shelter is nothing. You're chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles. You can just fill up the shelter form and send it to us.
Yeah,
We can
please
forward it. So
share
that
that. Yeah, please share that.
initiation you can take whenever, let that don't think about now. The Krishna will help. Okay, the time will come. But at least shelter you can take. It's almost like initiation. You take shelter of the Guru. You come under his protection. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, Suresha Prabhu, can you send the shelter form in the group, or Aishwarya
Yes.
Mataji also can forward now?
Yes,
The group.
Mataji, I'll forward Mataji.
All the devotees, they can fill and send it to me. Okay, so taking shelter is nothing. It's like it's a great opportunity, getting a human form of life, to get a guru coming from the auspicious parampara of Brahma Madhvagade Sampradaya, and finally going to Prabhupada. Taking shelter means what? You're coming the ashraya of Guru. The Guru will take charge of you, and taking shelter is just a commitment. It's just a paperwork we are sending to the JPS office. Just a paperwork. Let it be there for 6 months, 1 year. Let it be, and later on you can think about initiation. But shelter, doing bhakti vaibhav now. You should all do it. You should all take it, because at the end of Bhakti Shastri, it's expected you all take initiation. But shelter anyone can take. Nothing changes. You don't have to be worried about family members. No, whatever you're doing now, you're chanting 16 rounds, good. You are following the 4 regulative principles, good. That's the only thing. These two things have to be done. Attend Mangalarti and all that you're already doing, no? So shelter is not an issue. Just take shelter first. Okay, that is very, very important. Take shelter, the Guru's, you come under the Guru's ashraya. Then initiation is just a process, or it's just the name changing and all the other things. That will take time. It takes time. Each one have their own karma to be finished before they take a spiritual birth. Or but Krishna speedens it. But you should have that desire. If you don't have desire, if you think that, oh, my life is like this and I'll never take initiation in this life, Krishna also will think, okay, okay. Yeah, damam prabhate. Okay, this person is not serious or he don't want. But whatever your situation is, have that intense desire. Krishna, I want to take initiation, but I don't know, my life is like this. You mold. So Krishna will mold our life in such a way. He can do anything. Now I heard this sentence and it changed my whole concept. It says Krishna can change a desert to an ocean and an ocean to a desert. Now, in desert, how much of a water you put, it's not going to be seen. And an ocean cannot be dried up. We know the story of the sparrow, what happened, the eggs. Now, Krishna can do that. That means what? Krishna can change our karma. Krishna can do anything. Nothing is impossible for him. So, you should have trust and have faith in the Lord. So, but then shelter you can do. Why I'm telling is, Vyasdev, being the Lord himself, took shelter of Narad Muni. Arjuna took shelter of Krishna. Which verse in Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna took shelter. Hmm? Which was that verse? 2.7. Karpanya dosha.
Karpanya dosho pata swabhava
शिष्यस्तेऽहं चादिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. So there, 2.7, Arjuna is becoming a shishya to Krishna. So he is taking shelter. So Vyasdev is showing us an example of an acharya, how an acharya should take shelter. See, a guru doesn't come just like that. A guru should have his guru, his guru, his guru. Now that should come in a parampara. And Vyasdev, even though being the Lord himself, is showing us how we should surrender to a guru. And it's very important when we have difficulty, we go to the guru. It's not like CR, even after initiation, our Diksha gurus will be very busy. But we have Shiksha gurus, or we can follow their instructions. Still, we are connected. No, it's not just Vapu, it's Vani Seva also will happen. So, Vyasdev was not at all happy, because when do we really feel happiness? When is the real happiness coming? When
when the soul is surrendering to the
When we
Lord.
do devotional service.
Yeah, when we do devotional service. What is that sloka? Ye atma suprasitati. 1.2.6, no? Save pumsa.
Karo dharma.
Puംsa parodharmo
Yado bhakti radokshaje.
Ahaituki apradihata
Yes.
yayatma suprasidati.
Yeah, ahituki apradihada ye atma suprasidati. So, atma, the real happiness comes when we do bhakti to adokshaja, Krishna. Now, Vyasdev have not written much about Krishna in any of the scriptures, and that is the real cause of his despondency or dissatisfaction. Vyasdev already know that. But just to, is doing a pastime of a grihastha or a human-like pastime, just to show us that we may not know the cause of our suffering, even if you are God, but Guru should come. Guru only knows what our real problem is, no? So Guru comes and like once when a model became a devotee. So you know the life of a model is like she was very living a posh life and all that. So gave up everything and came, and it was not she could not adapt to the situation in the temple, because those time becoming a Hare Krishna means what? Joining full time in temple. And she was really struggling. So finally she thought, let me leave the temple. I'll just leave. I can't stay here. So she had a lot of courage. She collected so much courage to go and tell to Prabhupada that she's leaving. So that day Prabhupada just came to that temple. Prabhupada never saw her, but Prabhupada knew that a girl have come like this and joined. So Prabhupada didn't even say anything. Prabhupada just saw her and she paid obeisances, and Prabhupada just touched her head and said, what did he say? Anyone know? Prabhupada said, give this one life to Krishna. You had 84 lakhs janmas, or you might have take more janmas. You do whatever you want in those janmas, but this life, give it to Krishna. And tears came from her eyes because she was about to quit. She wanted to leave Krishna consciousness. She didn't even tell anything, but Prabhupada, just by seeing her, understood what is in her heart. And then Prabhupada gave the reply. Just one sentence. Give this one life to Krishna. You do what, and Prabhupada said, you do whatever you want in any of your life, any janmas, you do whatever sense gratification you want. But this life, give to Krishna. And that was enough. Like, she completely surrendered, because she's like, I didn't even say anything to Prabhupada, but Prabhupada understood. No, that's how a guru is. A guru, just by seeing the disciple, he knows, because Krishna is in a heart as Paramatma, as Chaitya Guru. He's Chaitya Guru. So that same Guru is a representative of Krishna. Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra. He is not different from Hari. So Vyasdev had lot of trouble, because he never glorified Krishna, because when you glorify Krishna and his pastimes, that's when Yayatma Suprasidati. So undoubtedly Srila Vyasdev have compiled all the Vedas, but still, and Vedaisha Sarve,
Ahameva
Hameva Vedyo Vedanta Veda Videva Chaham Sarvasya Chaham Hridsanavishnu. So there it said, Vedaisya Sarve Rahame. What is the purpose of studying Vedas? To know Krishna. But even after studying Vedas, Vyasdev himself was not able to know Krishna. So he thought of, now he was lamenting, and Narad Muni comes there. And so when Narad Muni reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas on the banks of Ganges, on the Saraswati, just as Vyasdev was regretting his defects. So he was regretting what was happening. Okay. So Vyasdev is dissatisfaction despite doing welfare people in the general. So when is the soul really satisfied? We got this answer when you do devotion service to Krishna. Savai pumsa paro dharma yudha bhakti ratokshije ahaituki apradihata Atma suprasidati. So the Atma will become really pleased when we do bhakti. This is our real dharma. What is the dharma of sugar? Dharma of sugar is sweetness. It should be sweet. If sugar is not sweet, see, you're tied up. Okay, you have powder sugar, you have powder salt. Now, how will you know which is sugar or which is salt?
By
You're
tasting.
blindfolded. By tasting. So when you taste, because it's powder, no, sugar and salt both are in the powder form. You don't know the difference. So you taste it, and one is sugar because it's sweet. The salt, it should be salty. Green chilies, chili should be the spicy. If they don't have these properties, they are not following that dharma. Similarly, the human being's dharma is to do devotion service to Krishna. That means what? If those who are not devotees are called as what? Then they're called as
Karmis.
Dvipada Pashu. They're called as animal. They are polished animals. Because, see, sugar should be sweet. If that is not sweet, that's not a sugar. Okay. So similarly, human being should be devotee. If that person is not a devotee, dharmena hina pashubir samana. If no dharma is followed, then they are like pashu or animal, two-legged animal. That's it, two legs. And it's called polished animal. That's it. It's called Dvipada Pashu, in the sense two-legged Pashu. So real dharma is to do bhakti, which many don't know. Now, when you chant Hare Krishna, you will come into Krishna consciousness, your friends and relatives will say, we are crazy or we are mad or something, or why you're wasting time for bhakti. No? But they don't know this is our real dharma, and this is the only business of human form of life, to do bhakti, which many people don't know. We are so fortunate, no? So fortunate. Today some visitors came to temple, and we were doing garland seva. So in between, when visitors come, we give this japamala and ask them to give them the card and ask them to do one round japa. So many were doing, we teach them how to do, and many comes every day and they do japa. But a group of college girls and boys came. They just came to have fun and taking selfies in the temple. But still we tried. We have to try, no? But in that, few girls took, some boys took, and there was one boy who's like, I will not do japa. I don't want. So, and another devotee went there and again tried to convince. Still, he was like, no, I don't want. We can't force them, no? Because finally they'll stop coming to temple. So we left. And then one senior Mataji said, it requires lot of ajnata sukritis or punya to chant the holy name. It's not easy to chant. It's not by chance you can chant, or so we don't know how fortunate we are. We are chanting the holy name and we are learning scriptures. It's not easy to coming to Bhakti Vaibhav position. It's not easy. So much Janma Sukritis are required to hear and speak and hear and listen and study Bhagavatam. It's not easy. All of you have Bhagavatam set at home, right? Is there anyone in the class who don't have the whole set? All of you have? Because if you don't have, please get it as soon as possible. You have to order it because it's not different from Krishna. So you should have it. And what is the benefit of having Bhagavatam in this life? What will happen in the next life then? How do you get benefit in the next life? By having Bhagavatam in this life? Yes, anyone knows? There is a benefit you get it in next life. So if you have Srimad Bhagavatam set at your home in this life, next life you will be born in a family which already have Bhagavatam set. That means what? You will be born in a devotee family. Okay, you understood? Because this is continuing from previous life. So, so it's very important to understand that this the Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. And that's a real dharma, the supreme occupation of humanity is that we have to attain loving devotional service to Krishna. And that service should be unmotivated and uninterrupted. That will completely satisfy the self. So the first story, what is happening in the first story? First picture?
Damodar
Yes.
Leela.
The fruit seller, no? The fruit
The
vendor.
fruit seller.
Fruit seller.
What did she do? The fruit seller?
She has given all the fruits to Krishna
Yes.
without any money also, and
And she took something, no, in return?
She takes grains from Krishna.
And that
one
grains were
grain.
fully fallen and it was like few grains, very less grains. But still she gave lot of fruits. And then what happened to her basket?
It
It
turns
was
into
full of
gold.
ornaments and all.
Ornaments.
Yeah, it became very precious stones and jewels and ornaments. And what happened to her after that? Does anyone know? After this Leela, what happened to her? Okay, so she was taking it and going. Actually, she didn't realize it was jewels. She actually took the fruits and she was going, and on the way, it became heavy because she didn't really realize, but on the way it became heavy and she saw it was all jewels and diamonds and all. So what she did, she went to Yamuna and she threw the whole basket. If it was us, we would have taken home and ran, but she just threw it. And she's like, Krishna, you can't purchase me with this, or I don't want this in exchange with for your love. Because she was such a pure devotee, she didn't want anything. And immediately it says, Krishna took her back home, back to Godhead. She got delivered and liberated. And the second picture, who's that?
Bilva Mangala Thakur.
Bilva Mangal Mataji.
Yeah, also it is said it's Surdas also.
Surdas, yeah.
But both. Surdas was blind and still used to sing for Krishna. And Krishna ran once from Surdas, and Surdas said, I am blind, Netrahin, but I can't tie you. But in my heart, I have tied you with the rope of love. And Krishna heard this and came back and sat. Third picture, this one.
Mataji, he was a hunter, Mataji. I think
Yeah, what
Mrigari,
is his name?
Mataji. Mrigari,
Mrigari.
Mataji.
He's Mrigari. What is he
He
doing
was
on the floor?
first. He was not at all. He was not at all humble, Mataji. He was very cruel. He was killing all the animals half the way, and he was enjoying the way they were dying. After that, Narada Muni came and advised him. Then he started following the principles, regulative principles. He was keeping a tulsi plant. He left all the plundered jewels. He left away, and he gave it to Brahmanas, and he started living in a small hut. Then he followed all the regulative principles. One day, Narad Muni and I think Parvat Muni, one more Muni, came along with him to visit him. That time, he could see that ants were passing through that way. So he was removing those ants from that way so that nobody is stamping that ant. The devotional service made him so humble that he don't want even the ants to be killed. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very nice. So before he was half killing animals. Okay. Now what he became? He became such a pure Vaishnava that he didn't even want to step on the ants before paying obeisances. So much change happened because he became a Vaishnava. And for a final picture.
Bali Maharaj and Vamanadev.
And who is behind Bali Maharaj?
Shukracharya
Shukracharya.
advising by
Shukracharya. Yeah. Shukracharya was the guru and still was rejected by Bali Maharaj. Isn't that offense?
No, he is not a guru who is not teaching about Krishna.
He was a guru of demons, no, Mataji.
Yeah, and then he was not allowing Bali Maharaj to do any offering to the Lord Vishnu. And also it is said Shukracharya was the Acharya of a demon, and also he became an Acharya by seminal way, in the sense his father was an Acharya, so he also became an Acharya. So Prabhupada says that's not the right way. It should be in the Guru Shishya Parampara. They should become Acharya. So here Vyasdev was reflecting what happened. Okay, Kimva Bhagavad Dharma na Parayana Nirkuta. So Narad Muni has come now. So Narad Muni has come to inform Vyasdev what happened actually. So vacuum was felt by Vyasdev. It was not due to lack of knowledge, because of the Bhagavad Dharma was not mentioned. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is full of narrations of activities of Krishna. Okay, so Bhagavatam should be heard and explained. Shrinmandi Gayan Digrinandi Sadhava, it is said. Bhagavatam should be explained and heard and everything. So, after Narad Muni had come, what did Vyasdev do? Tam apijnaya sahasa pratyuttayagatam muni pujayam asavitivan Naradam Sura Pujitam. So, at the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Vyasadev got abreast fully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that of Brahmaji, the creator. Okay, because you can see that's how you honor the Guru. So, Vyasdev, Narad Muni, Vyasdev comes there, and also it is said Bhagavad Dharma, like Narad Muni, because Vyasdev didn't explain Bhagavad Dharma, the Bhagavad Dharma is explained in different sections of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially this discussion between Nimi Maharaj and Navayogendras. Prahlad Maharaj, you can see now how Prahlad Maharaj in the class, he was actually giving instructions to the classmates. And that is about Bhagavad Dharma. It's about Krishna, no? Narad Muni was his guru, real guru, not Shukracharya's sons, so Shanta and Amarka. But Prahlad Maharaj became a guru for his classmates. Chitraketu Maharaj's prayers. Chitraketu Maharaj also later on becoming Vritrasura. Okay, he also offered prayers. Lord Rishabhadev's teaching. Rishabhadev also tells to his sons to do devotional service. And also Yamaraj explains Bhagavad Dharma to the Yamadutas. When did that happen? Yamaraj explaining to Yamadutas. When did they do that? Ajamila's pastime. Very good. So Ajamila's pastime also, when the Yamadutas were stopped by Vishnudutas, the Yamadutas ran to Krishna. Ran to Yamaraj and asked, is there any authority higher than you? The Yamaraj said, yes, I am just one of the Mahajans, 12 Mahajans, and above us is the Lord. So then he explained Bhagavad Dharma. So real Bhagavad Dharma, that time, Yamaraj says something to Yamadutas. What is that? One great instruction he gives them about devotees. What does he say about devotees?
Those who chant,
yeah,
you cannot be taken to Yamloka.
Yeah, what did he say? That those devotees who are chanting Krishna's name, yes,
they should not be taken to Yamloka. They deserve Yamloka.
They should not be taken to Yamaloka. So, in the sense, he is saying he is okay. So he is Yamaraj is explaining this to Yamadudas, saying that somebody who's chanting the holy name, somebody who's reading Srimad Bhagavatam, somebody is, that means basically doing devotional service, should not be touched or should not be taken by the Yamadutas. And also the tulsi beads, if you have, also the tilak you have, no, that the Yamadutas doesn't come near us. Okay, so in the 6th canto it comes, okay, that that because of this Ajamala's pastime. So there also the explanation is given, and there's a good conversation between Yamaraj and Yamadutas. So he says that they should not be taken. and he says that the dharma, whoever is doing this dharma of Bhagavatam, they should not be touched. So what happened is, Yamaraj and Yamadutas don't have much service now. Why? They don't have much service nowadays. Why? Yes. Why is Yamadutas not having much service? Because many are becoming Krishna conscious now. Many are chanting the holy name. Many are. See, what is the work of the Yamadutas? To go to the sinful people and take them to hellish planet. Now, because many have taken to chanting the holy name and reading Bhagavatam and hearing, they are all getting converted. Their sins are getting washed. Okay, like how Yamaraj says in the 6th and the 3rd chapter, verse 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namocharana Mahatmyam Hare Pashyata Putraka Ajamilo Apiyenaiva Mrityu Pasad Amuchyata. So he's saying, my dear servants, who are as good as my sons, just see how glorious is the chanting of the holy name. So glory, he's saying the glory of the chanting, which saying that the greatly sinful Ajamila chanted to call his son Narayana, not knowing that he was chanting the Lord's holy name. He was not even knowing. Nevertheless, by chanting the holy name, he remembered Narayana, and thus he was immediately saved from the ropes of death. Okay, he actually, Ajamila didn't remember Narayana. It was his son. But Lord took it, like it is said, no, if you chant haram haram, then what will happen? The Lord will take it as Hey Ram,
Ram. Hey Ram.
Hey Ram. He will take it as, who will chant haram haram?
Muslims, not the same.
Yeah, when they are they give sacrificing animals and all, no, sometimes they sing that. Now, who told this to whom? That when they chant haram haram, still they will get delivered. Who said this? Anyone knows? This was told to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by whose Namacharya?
Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur.
Thakur.
So you can see Ante Leela in Chaitanya Charitamrita, okay, chapter 3, verse 52. And there it is said, Haridasa kahe Prabhu chinta na kariha, yavanera samsara dekhi dukha na bhaviha. So Haridas Thakur is saying, Prabhu Chintana Kariya. So before this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, how will the Yavanas and Mlechas who's having meat eating, how will they get delivered? So Haridas Thakur said, Prabhu Chintana Kare, you don't have to worry. Why? Yavanera Samsara Dekhi Dukkana Babiha. He's saying that, don't be anxious, my dear Lord. Do not be unhappy to see the condition of Yavanas in the material world. Why? He's saying, Yavana sakela ra mukti habe anayase harama harama bali kahe nama bhase. So Yavanas also will get mukti. How? They are chanting haram haram bali kahe nama bhase. So they are chanting haram haram. That is also Krishna is taking as Hey Ram, and nama bhas. It's nama bhas. They are not calling in Shuddha Nam. They're not meaning the Lord. Still, they get the delivered. So, because Yavanas are accustomed to saying haram, haram, they will easily be delivered by this nama pass. It's actually haram, they say, but Lord take it as Hey Ramchandra. Mahaprema Bhakta kahe harama harama Yavanera bhagya deka alayase nama. So a devotee in advanced ecstatic love explains, Oh my Lord, Ramachandra. But the Yavanas chant haram haram. Still they are fortunate. So just imagine. And the purport Prabhupada gives a very nice instance. If a child touch fire, what will happen? The fire will burn him. And even if a big person touch, elderly people touch also, it will burn. The child doesn't know the quality of the fire, still it gets burned. The elderly person also get burned. That means what? You chant the holy name knowingly, unknowingly, the glories, still you get the benefit. Another example, the similar type. There's one more type, one more. What is it? Like the like the medicine. Okay, so if somebody is illiterate, they don't even know what the medicine is. You give paracetamol and the fever will go. And somebody who's a pharmacologist or might be a doctor or private profession, he or she knows what is happening in the medicine or what is the composition, the side effects, everything. Still, they take paracetamol, the fever will go. No, you know the glory, you doesn't know. Still, what happens? It gives benefit. Okay, so this is what the holy name is. The holy name is so powerful. So here, Narad Muni, and not only holy name, about Krishna also. Any thing related to Krishna is all Krishnatized. It's all spiritual. So here it is said, Narad Muni had these problems still. Even after, Vyasdev had the problems, still Narad Muni came and helped. And Vyasdev already know what is the solution also. And he is giving us by example, he is showing us that this, whatever scriptures we read, whatever we learn or anything, unless you read Srimad Bhagavatam or understand about Krishna, we cannot get real happiness or satisfaction. Okay, so dharma is been explained, and so Yamaraj. So here Priya Paramahamsanam the eva hi achyuta Priya. So Bhagavad Dharma is very dear to pure devotees as well as to the Lord. So Srimad Bhagavatam is yet Vaishnavana Priyam. It's very dear to Vaishnavas. Why? Why is it dear to Vaishnavas? Srimad Bhagavatam. Who knows?
Because it is about Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
Teaches about the Leelas of Krishna.
So Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna and Bhagavatam is spoken
Past tense of Lord.
about Krishna. Yes. So one is spoken by Krishna and the other one is spoken about Krishna. Okay. So there are difference. That is the difference. So here Srimad Bhagavatam is actually considered as an Amalam Purana. Amalam Purana means what? Amalam Purana.
Oldest.
Spotless Purana.
Spotless, very good. Spotless Purana. Okay, spotless means you can't find any mistake in Bhagavatam. You can't say, oh, this is waste or no. It's full to be taken. So 12th canto, 13th chapter, verse 18 also says, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yet Vaishnavanam Priyam. Yet Vaishnavanam Priyam, because it's about Krishna. So it's very dear to Vaishnavas. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana. Puranam Amalam. Amalam means it's very pure and spotless. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have said this, that Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. It's more dear to Vaishnavas because it describes about Krishna and it is about devotees, Krishna and devotees. And Bhagavatam reveals the meaning of becoming free from material work together with the process of transcendental knowledge, renunciation and devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, properly hears and chants it with devotion, become completely liberated. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says in the purport, it's completely free from the three modes, like Krishna, because it's not different from Krishna. And then we should be completely eager and to hear. Even liberated souls are eager to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Like who? Examples? Examples of liberated souls who like to hear Srimad Bhagavatam.
Dundukari.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Yes, Parikshit Maharaj, one example. Then
Mataji, Narad Muni was listening when Shukadev Goswami was reciting
yes,
Srimad
very good.
Bhagavatam.
Mataji, the Naimisharanya sages.
Okay, sages of Naimisharanya. Then
Sutta Goswami also.
Sutta Goswami, yes. Who else like to hear Bhagavatam?
Dundukari was also there, Mataji. Dundukari.
Who?
Dundukari.
Dundukari was not a liberated soul, but yes,
Not
later on he
liberated?
became liberated. Yes, after hearing Bhagavatam, he got liberated. Yes. Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva likes to hear Bhagavatam?
Yes, Mataji.
Who knows that story? One story I said?
No,
In
Mataji.
Kerala, one temple happened. Did I say that story?
Yeah, same
The Guru Maharaj.
chapter used to be repeated.
The same chapter repeating, everyone knows. Okay, so
Yes.
there Lord Shiva and Mata Parvati was relishing Srimad Bhagavatam. So just imagine liberated souls like Lord Shiva, Shukadeva Goswami, Narad Muni, everyone likes to hear Srimad Bhagavatam again and again and again. So this is very, very dear to Krishna, and it is Puranam Amalam Yat Vaishnavanam Priyam. It's very, very dear. So Srimad Bhagavatam should be compiled, and that's why this pastime have happened, and by the instruction of Narad Muni it has to happen. So that's why this pastime of Vyasdev's lamentation happened. So he was knowing, okay, what is the problem. So outcome of despondency of Srila Vyasdev is that so what happened? Because he was lamenting, what happened? What came out? Because Vyasdev was lamenting, after the lamentation, what came out? Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam had come out, yes, because of that. What came out of despondency of Arjuna?
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. And despondency of Devahuti?
Kapila.
Kapila gave which philosophy?
Sankhya philosophy.
Sankhya philosophy. That's nothing but the difference between matter and soul and spirit and all. And Yudhishthira Maharaj?
Vishnu Sahasranam.
Vishnu Sahasranam or Bhishma Stuti and all that came out. So you can see all these are great souls. Vyasdev, Narad Muni, then Krishna and Arjuna, Kapila Dev and Devahuti, and also Bhishma Dev and Yudhishthira Maharaj. They are all great souls, great devotees, liberated Paramahamsas. Still, it just for a pastime purpose, the Lord wanted some situation. That's why when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, Shishyasteham Shadi Mam Tom Pravannam, Krishna, what was Krishna's reaction? Did Krishna say anything or he did something?
Mataji, he was quiet until Arjuna was getting surrendered. After he surrendered, he accepted him as the devotee. Till then, he was listening silently, Mataji.
Yes, he was listening. He was showing us how a guru should be a good listener. But Krishna reacted in some way. After that, before saying the philosophy, what did Krishna do?
He chastised him, like he told.
Before saying, after listening to Arjuna's lamentation, what did Krishna do? What did Krishna do? Smiled. Krishna just smiled. Why? Krishna didn't do anything or Krishna didn't say anything. But just by seeing Arjuna surrendering, Krishna smiled. Why? There's a reason. Why Krishna smiled? You finished Bhakti Shastri,
Realization happened, Mataji.
No. Before realization happened, this happened. Before realization, this is.
He was smiling because he know that Arjuna is very good devotee and he know everything very well. But since he's confused now, he's speaking like this. So that's why he.
So that is one thing. Yeah, that is one reason. Yes, because Arjuna is a great scholar, great Kshatriya. Still Arjuna is lamenting. So seeing that, Krishna smiled. Then any other reason why Krishna smiled? Rajalakshmi Mataji, why did Krishna smile? Okay, Shireshwara Prabhu.
Whenever one is surrendering, then with devotion, then only one can understand the Lord.
Yeah, that means this is according to Krishna's plan. Now Krishna's plan is working. Now Krishna can start speaking Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna smiled. So and now Arjuna has surrendered. Now he can give transcendental knowledge. Krishna smiled. Then what change of rasa happened to Arjuna now? What is the rasa change?
From friend, he became
Asya.
From Sakya to Dasya.
Sakya to Dasya.
Yeah, from Sakya to Dasya. So he was Sakya, he was a friend, then he became a disciple. So definitely, just imagine like you are a police inspector or something, you are a superintendent of police, something. So then you have a close friend. Your childhood friend came home and you were calling nicknames and joking and everything. But suddenly the friend realized you are the superintendent of police or something. And the friend got up, being so respectful to you, what will you do? You will smile, no? Because he's your childhood friend, and suddenly coming to know your position, it's all changed. So till now, how did Arjuna? Because the battle of Kurukshetra was so sound, so much sound was coming. How did Krishna say Arjuna give indication to Krishna to take right or left in the chariot? How did he give indication?
By
Mataji,
kicking.
Arjuna kicked
By
on the arms of
kicking.
Krishna.
Yeah, kicking. Just imagine, because they are friends. Okay, till then they are friends. There's pure Sakyaras. Krishna likes it more than being humble. So when Arjuna kicked Krishna to the right or left, then Krishna takes turns kicking. Just imagine, he was kicking, and Krishna was enjoying that. But after reaching the battlefield and after lamenting and everything, he's surrendering now. Shishyasthyam shadi mam tam prabannam. And Krishna's like, what is happening? You were my sakha. Now you're becoming my dasa. Dasya. So Krishna don't. Krishna smiled, seeing that change of rasa. So Krishna's reactions can be very surprising. Like when Kunti Maharani offered her Kunti Stuti, we'll learn it in the 8th chapter. So she gave a big Stuti. After that, Krishna didn't say anything. He smiled. So Krishna is like that. He is very, very calm and peaceful, and he can, because Krishna knows what all this plan, no, Vyasdev putting into lamentation is so that Bhagavatam could come out, and Arjuna in despondency, lamenting, being a great Kshatriya, so that Bhagavad Gita could be spoken. Devahudi, the mother of Kapila Dev. Just imagine a mother taking instruction from a son. That's very, very rare. But that Sankhya philosophy had to come. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, Krishna could have answered all the questions of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Still, Krishna sent Yudhishthira Maharaj to Bhishma Dev. Why? We'll learn it in the 9th chapter, but I'm just asking you. Krishna could have just answered all the questions. He knows everything, no? Yudhishthira Maharaj could have asked the questions to Krishna directly, but they went to Bhishma Dev. And Krishna told Yudhishthira Maharaj, go to Bhishma Dev and ask. Why?
Because Bhishma Dev saw in the war Krishna from front all the
Okay, so
Bhishma was a devotee.
Krishna wishes to glorify his
he is a
devotees.
great devotee, glorifying the devotee. Very good. So Krishna wants to mat bhaktya puja bhi adhikam. Krishna's devotee should be worshipped more than Krishna. Krishna likes it. So Krishna said, Bhishma Dev is a pure devotee, to show everyone, to prove that Bhishma Dev, or to glorify Bhishma Dev. Even at the time of death, look at Bhishma Dev's consciousness. No? That fully absorbed in Krishna, to glorify, to increase the glory of Bhishma Dev, Krishna sent. Then, any other reason?
Bhishma was alone in Apashaya.
Bhishma had a desire, no, at the time of death. What was his desire? What was he waiting for, Bhishma Dev, in Sharashaya?
Uttarayan.
At
For
the
the
time of
perfect
death,
moment to die, leave his
it
What
should
is
body.
be
Uttarayan?
Auspicious time of
Of?
death, no? Death.
No.
at the
Auspicious
time
time
of
of?
death,
Surya
Krishna
comes
should
to
be present. At the
Okay,
time of
that is his
at the
desire.
time of
no, in Uttarayana, whoever dies, they
What do you
will
mean
go
by
to
Uttarayana?
higher planets.
Yeah, whoever dies during Uttarayana is
6 months
have.
from
What do you mean by Uttarayana?
Uttaras.
Huh?
that is 6
Something
months.
related to the sun?
Yeah.
Uttarayana.
Uttara. Sun.
Sun travels from south to north.
Yeah, something like that. So that's Uttarayana. Yeah, Rajalakshmi Mataji, yes.
at the time of death, Krishna should be present. It
No,
was
that
for
is his desire. Yeah, that was Bhishma Dev's desire, and he was waiting for Uttarayan. Now,
Yes.
Uttarayan means the something related to sun normally, but actually Uttarayan has another meaning. See, Narayana means what? Somebody who have taken rest in water. Similarly, Uttarayana, somebody who have taken rest in Uttara's womb. Who's that? Krishna.
Parikshit.
Yeah, so that Uttarayana actually have to do nothing with the sun here, because for Bhishma Dev, as Mataji said, somebody who leaves the body in Uttarayan time will go to heaven. highly planets. But Bhishmadev is a pure devotee, saw Krishna face to face in the battlefield. Why should he go to heaven? He can directly go back to Godhead, no? So Uttarayana usually means the 6 months northward journey of sun to the celestial sphere, making the transition from winter to warmer suns. So this is what real Uttarayana means, okay? That is the sun. But everybody think that Bhishmadev wanted the sun. It doesn't matter what time Bhishmadev leaves the body. For a devotee, Uttarayan, Dakshinayan doesn't have anything to do with his soul going back to Godhead. Because Bhishmadev is a pure devotee. Bhishmadev actually meant Uttarayana means somebody who's resting in Uttara's womb. That was Krishna. So Bhishmadev was actually waiting for Krishna, okay, to come. Yeah, as Madhu said, he had the desire to see Krishna during the end of his time. Now, not only Krishna, Bhishmadev also wanted to see the Pandavas because they are dear sons of him, and he wanted to see them, grandsons. So Bhishmadev wanted to see Yudhishthira Maharaj being in the throne, or being empowered, or in the sense being the king of the whole Hastinapur kingdom. So Bhishmadev had these desires. So Krishna took all the Pandavas and went near Bhishmadev and started asking. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked so many questions to Bhishmadev, and Bhishmadev gave transcendental advice. Later on, he chanted Vishnu Sahasranam and left. So just imagine what consciousness he had at the time of death. Krishna wants to prove how a great devotee leaves this body, the soul leaves the body. Or Krishna wants to show that even at the time of death, a pure devotee is never disturbed. So to glorify Bhishmadev, he have done this pastime. So all this, Krishna has a plan for all this. So conclusion is that Lord will put his own devotees into bewilderment so that something would come out for the welfare of people in general. He put the same condition for Prabhupada also, no? What happened? What happened to Prabhupada?
Prabhupada lost his business.
Yeah, he lost his business.
His industry was burnt, no?
Yeah, and everything he lost, and his family also abandoned, kind of, and everything. And Krishna forced Prabhupada, and Prabhupada started some movement in India, no? Before going to America.
Yes, in
What is
Madhya
it?
Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh.
Allahabad.
What is it called? Nobody read Leelamrita? You have to read Leelamrita. It's called the League of Jhansi. Okay, so League of Devotees or League of Jhansi, Prabhupada started, and it became a flop. It just became a failure. If that would have flourished, Prabhupada would have never gone to America. ISKCON would have Krishna had a plan. So Krishna put Prabhupada in bewilderment. Nothing was working, and Prabhupada finally took the decision to go to America. And something great came out for the welfare of the people. That was International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Krishna put the devotees to bewilderment so that something good can come out. So it looks like, oh, how can Krishna having pure devotees and still they are undergoing suffering? The Pandavas suffered so much, all that. Prabhupada says Krishna's mother Devaki also had problems. She was, who was her greatest enemy? Who became her greatest enemy?
Brother.
Kamsa.
Huh?
Kamsa, no?
Kamsa, her own brother, no? Her own brother became her enemy on her wedding day. Just imagine the situation. No? Still, so Krishna, so Prabhupada says, even if you become the mother of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Devaki, still she had problems. What is Krishna teaching us in that? Through that? Yes? What is Krishna saying to us by putting Devaki into trouble? Is there a lesson, no? Behind everything Krishna does.
Our near and dear ones can also become envious of us at any time.
Yes, very
if they
good.
are
That
not
is
Krishna conscious or
yeah.
if they are not Krishna conscious.
Yeah, that is one point, great point, which Prabhupada said, that when you become Krishna conscious, your own family can become your enemy. Like Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, the father became enemy. Devaki's own brother became enemy. Who was that? Who was in Lanka? Vibhishan. Vibhishan's brother Ravana was his enemy. So still they did Krishna consciousness and came forward. So when you become Krishna conscious, your own family members can become enemies. Then, But still, you should take shelter of Krishna, nothing else. What else lesson we can learn?
Those who become devotional will get a lot of troubles.
Those who become devotional,
They get into trouble.
yeah,
Just
why?
to get more closer to the Lord.
Yes, to become closer to the Lord. So Krishna makes pure devotees suffer so that they become more serious in bhakti and they become detached. And also Krishna wants to prove that even if you take the position of Krishna's mother, but you are in the material world, it's still dukhalayam shashvatam. It's still the three modes will act on you. Or Krishna is teaching us a lesson that whoever take birth in the material body, in the material world, they have to undergo the sufferings. So like Devaki had. So even if in that position, no, so even if they are pure devotees, still they'll be suffering. Tattena kambam susamikshamanam bunjana eva atma krita vibhagam kritva babudhir vidadan namaste jeevere mukti pade sadayam. So that person will get liberated. They become the right candidate for liberation. Okay, so that's what this sloka teaches. So we have finished the chapter. It's just a small chapter. You can quickly read. But before that, there are some devotees who have not done chapter 3, no? So then only I can release the marks. So Aishwarya Mataji, when are they planning? Oh, she left. Yes, Mataji. We should give a date, no? So that they can all write the exam. Or should we wait?
Hare
Because
Krishna
next,
Mataji, I have not taken any exam
Padmini Mataji. Okay, you
because
also
I
have to write.
joined late. So
Okay.
almost two chapters were over. It is
Yeah,
very
so we can have a re-exam for them. Sureshwar Prabhu, did you write all the chapters?
Yeah, Mother. I
You
have written.
finished?
Yes, Mother. I have finished.
Okay, Avik Prabhu?
Mataji, chapter 2 closed book exam is pending. Chapter 2. Chapter
Okay.
1 and 3 I have appeared, Mataji.
Yeah, so Sureshwar Prabhu, can you do one thing? Like
Yes, Mother.
tomorrow all are ready to write the pending exam, Sunday? Or you want time?
I want time, Mataji.
It's already late.
Mhm.
When
Yeah,
are you all going to prepare?
maybe a week or 10 days time.
Okay, so next Sunday might be
Next Sunday, yeah.
8th. Oh no, Saturday only we'll keep. Next week, 7th. Okay, 7th we'll have re-exams. Okay. So Prabhu, Sureshwar Prabhu, I'm making you in charge. Okay.
Is it for first chapter?
So this will be for all the back slots, whatever remaining. But those who have multiple chapters, you can take one chapter now. Okay, might be this. We can have a third chapter on Saturday, 7th. How many
Yes.
have third chapter? Padmini Mataji, then Avik Prabhu.
Mataji, my
Aishwarya
chapter 2 is left, only chapter 2.
2. So Avik Prabhu can write chapter 2 on 7th. Okay, ready?
Yes, Mataji, I can write.
Okay,
Mataji.
Padmini Mataji, can you write chapter 3 or
Chapter 2
1?
and 7.
One, Mataji.
Yeah, 1. Any who else? Ruchi Mataji?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, 3.
Which
Mataji.
one?
Third chapter.
Third chapter. Okay. Others have written. Archana Mataji, you wrote everything?
Yes,
Rajalakshmi
Mataji, I wrote
Surina
everything,
Mataji,
Mataji.
Ponraj
I
Prabhu,
wrote it.
Rit Prabhu, Ruchi Mataji, all have written? Okay.
Yes,
So,
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
any slokas remaining? So, Padmini Mataji, chapter 1 sloka you can give?
Yes, Mataji, I will give.
Okay. What about others? Sloka?
I
Avik
think I
Prabhu?
have already given vocal test, Mataji. I mean, shloka chanting test for first.
Test you? Sloka test you gave?
Yeah. After
Oh,
that, I couldn't write because it was.
Okay. Avik Prabhu, which one is remaining for you?
Mataji, Shloka I have given, Mataji. Shloka
Yeah,
on,
only theory, no?
only the chapter 2, but Mataji, next Saturday, what will be the timing of the exam? 8 o'clock, same?
Saturday, this time 8:30.
Yes, Mataji, sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah,
Yes,
Suresh Prabhu's just remind me.
Mataji, I think I have given exam shloka chanting exam in fast track, not here.
No, you can't do that, no.
Okay,
I don't have.
I will take once again. No.
Okay, because I need to maintain the. You left fast track and came here, Mataji.
Yeah, it is too much for me. Yeah. I have to
Okay.
understand. I want to go slow.
Yeah, they just rush and go, no. It's difficult. They already reached second canto.
I know. There's
It's
too
just
much.
going high, super
Those who are
fast.
pursuing must be very great, Mataji.
I don't know. Many having pressure and stress because they have to cope up with the speed, and it's very hectic for hectic for us also for teachers. Now, it's like I've never taught so many slokas in 1 hour, 1.5 hours. It's very difficult to cope up with the speed. Because I like to relax and go one sloka I can go for 1 hour, but then Bhagavatam, the main purpose is that, no, to understand the philosophy. But yes, good. Those who want to do fast track, those who are capable, some are very good at slokas, very good at grasping, let them go for fast track. So we're giving you options. That's it. It's not like forcing anyone to be here or there. So what we'll do, Suresh Prabhu, just inform
Yes,
Aishwarya Mataji that on
Yes.
7th, we'll have all the backlogs. Whoever have just put a message, whoever have whichever chapter pending, they can come on 7th and write the exam and give the sloka. Okay. Others can take it as a study break. And 14th, we'll have chapter 4 exam. Okay. No slokas, no, this chapter. Any slokas to memorize? No, I think. No, this chapter don't have slokas, so directly. So 7th, we'll have a re-exam, Prabhu. So I
Yes.
make you in charge, okay? I'll give you all the question papers and you
Okay.
conduct the exam.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
I think we
Hare
can
Krishna,
stop here.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpadurubhasya, kripasindhubhyo, patitanam pavanebhyo